You are listening to the First Down Breakdown with Beast and Breeze picks.
Like I've been ballin' 'cause I'm really ballin'. I wanna buy the Jags, I'm not really sorry.
All right, we're back. As you guys know, my name's Beast Picks. I'm here with Breeze Picks. Coming off week one of NFL, we're coming back for week two here. I'm excited about it, but I think Breeze has a lot more bragging to do than I do. Guy comes out, throws up a 5-2. I went.
Let's go, Beast.
I mean, 3-4 on my end. I really don't have much excuse. It was 2-4. We added the Monday night play. Kind of salvaged a little bit of money there, but God, it was a brutal week one for me. The public just in general got beat down, but just I don't really have any excuse. All I can say is, hey, it can only go up from here. So I want to come out, prove myself this week. But if you want to go through your plays, I mean, 5-2, I think you got a lot more bragging to do than I do.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my best play of the week was Washington football team. They kind of let me down. I thought they'd do a lot better on offense. I know Fitzmagic got hurt, but, we'll take that L. But, Saints was also – I was big on the Saints. Everyone was on the Packers. I knew Jameis, baby. 5 touchdowns first week.
Yeah.
Hey, his MVP odds dropped to plus 1,600 now. I did say sprinkle that at plus 3,000.
He did. I thought he was an idiot, but, I didn't want to tell him.
But other than that, I kind of got screwed on the Rams under. Lost that by like half a point, but it is what it is. All the other plays, I think, were pretty spot on. I called the Vikings game going to OT. Bengals covered. Pretty spot on there. Looking forward to this week. Don't love the card, but we'll see if we can cook another 5-2 this week.
For sure. I think, like I said, I mean, we might, if he comes out and puts another 5-2 up, I think we might have to start kind of bowing down to the guy, But yeah, man, 3-4 for me. Honestly, it was 2-4 entering Monday Night Football. We threw out that Raiders play. If you guys didn't see it, follow us on Twitter or, on my TikTok. I did a little video, but really my biggest beat for like the week, my biggest bad beat, I should say, was Travis Kelce. Over 87.5 yards. The guy finishes with 76. And honestly, in that fourth quarter, they recover that fumble to take the lead. If they don't recover that fumble, that's going to be a punt, and they're going to get the ball probably in their own like 30 or 40 yard line. And they would have had to drive downfield. I feel like Kelce would have at least gotten probably another catch. And the way that Mahomes and him kind of cook, I think that would have at least been 12 yards is all I needed. So we didn't get anything. Even at the end of the game, they had opportunities to throw it to him. They threw it to some of the receivers. So it was frustrating. I'm like, just give him one more pass. At least get me somewhere.
I was watching the U.S. Open, so I was like flipping channels. And I flipped the channel before they punted. I flipped back and like they're already at like the 20. I'm like, what happened? I thought I thought they tried to fake a punt. Because I saw them like get up in the punt formation. I changed the channel.
Yeah, that was an absolute joke on that punt too. The guy like muffs it, and then he doesn't know what to do. Had every single memory of MSU Michigan is what I thought was going to happen. Like the trouble with the snap play. But other than that, man, I tell you what, some of the plays I had got absolutely smoked. Like I was high on the Colts last week. Thought that defense was really nice. And then Russell Wilson comes out and absolutely just massacres them. So that basically changed my outlook on that Colts defense, just seeing him do that, because I thought the Seahawks were good, but I didn't think that they were that good. So I don't know whether it's just the Seahawks are really good. A lot of people are putting them in like the top 5 of the league on all these power rankings I'm seeing, but either way, that one was I was way off. So whatever, it is what it is. But we kind of move on to this week. I feel like this week's card, we both kind of were looking at it. And we're like, man, it's a tough slate, but we kind of did some research. You'll hear us kind of joke around and stuff on this podcast, but at the end of the day, I mean, we put a lot of work and a lot of research into each of these plays, but I mean, we'll bullshit and, do whatever. So anyways, we'll move on. I'm going to start off with that Thursday night game. Oh man, what a dog shit game. Now that Fitzpatrick's gone, the Giants and the Washington football team without Fitzpatrick. So do you got any plays on this game? Because I do not.
So in this one, I do not. Talk about a dumpster fire, huh? But if I had to go somewhere, I feel like you have to take the under here. But it's like plummeting from when I first looked. I think it was at 43 by last night. It was already at 41. I looked this morning. I think it's already at 40 and a half. But honestly, I probably still think it goes under probably like a 17, like 10 game. So I'd probably just lean under. I think both defenses are good. It's just what quarterback's going to make the most plays. If I had to pick a side, I'd probably lean Washington, just because I think I saw a stat. The Giants had the ball 4 times in their own zone, and they didn't put up any points last week.
Right.
That is an absolute joke. So I cannot trust that offense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it, and I want to say it's that Taylor Heineke kid is starting for Washington, and there's a lot of question marks just overall. I mean, Saquon Barkley, if he's on the field, I mean, it's a completely different game. And they're saying he's still limited. I got him on my fantasy team, so I've been checking it probably every like 30 minutes, like every other fantasy idiot out there. But I mean, like really, if he doesn't play, it's instantly. I don't think their running game is even manageable, because they didn't do last week even with Saquon out there, and so he's a little bit banged up already. But I'd probably say even with Fitzpatrick out, I'd probably still take Washington, just because that defense is absolutely disgusting, and I just don't see Danny Dimes really doing anything. So I'd probably still say kind of like a 17-10 game. I just don't see the Giants scoring much. I mean, the Chargers had issues with it last week, and Chargers are a hell of a lot better offense if you ask me. So anyways,
this
moving
is
on.
By far like one of the worst games of the week.
Oh, by far. It's kind of silly how bad some of these teams are, that they put on like Thursday night games, but that's besides the point. Every time they throw out these Thursday night games, I'm like, this is good. I mean, I'm glad there's football, but is this actually football at the end of the day? So I guess we'll just start off. I'll just start running down some of the 1:00 games. We got Broncos and Jaguars to start. The line is Broncos -6 and over under a 45. Do you have anything on that one?
Yeah, I think this is another shit game, to be honest. I don't have anything. Staying away from this one. I don't even know what I'd play here. I feel like 6 is too many for the Broncos. I know they had a good week, but I feel like the Jags got to bounce back. I'd probably lean Jags like +6 here if I had to pick. They're at home. See a bounce back, maybe a letdown from the Broncos. But then again, looking at that offense, they didn't impress me very much last week for the Jags, so I would definitely not touch this one.
Yeah, if I had to do anything on this one, I also don't have a play, but if I had to do anything, I'd probably just take the under. I know 45 or 45.5, whatever you grab there, is a low number, but at the end of the day, man, the Jaguars didn't show me anything last week. Trevor Lawrence, I mean, he passed for over 300. So I mean, like, good for him, but they were down. So they were chasing that entire game. That doesn't impress me. I think a lot of those points were, kind of garbage time points in that sense. They were chasing that whole game, and that Broncos defense, Trevor Lawrence is in for a completely different fucking game. I think he's going to really learn what the NFL defenses are when he has Von Miller coming after him and Bradley Chubb coming after him, and a very nice secondary on that Broncos team. -6 is a huge number. But I could also see him laying it. Like,
now did you hear the news about Urban Meyer? They're saying he might leave for USC.
Yeah, I mean,
that his heart's not in it.
Yeah, right. I mean, honestly, that guy is such a mess. Who knows? We'll see if he can last in the NFL. He seemed like a pretty good coach coming in, but maybe he's just a college mindset. But we'll go to the Rams and the Colts next. That should probably be a pretty good game. Rams are on the road. Spread is Rams -3.5, over under 47. Do you got anything on this one?
So I think you got to play here, but I'm leaning on the other side. I don't have a play, but I think I would take the Colts here +4. I feel like last week was kind of a letdown for their defense. I think they'll bounce back this week. I didn't love the Rams. I know they had a good game, but like the Bears coverage in the secondary was absolutely brutal. And like I think it was a closer game than the score showed. So they didn't really impress me a whole lot. And they also like let the Bears put up 14 points on them, and that Bears offense isn't that great, but that running game kind of impressed me. I feel like Colts have a good running game. I think they can easily cover 4 at home here, but I don't have a play on it, but that's where I would lean.
Yeah, so obviously I'm pretty high on the Rams. Watching that Sunday night game, I think everybody on Monday, every one of the, Fox Sports, ESPN, all these shows were, oh my God, Rams Super Bowl. I'm not necessarily there yet, but I am pretty high on the Rams. They really impressed me. Obviously that defense, is pretty good. Obviously, I mean, they were against the Bears, so what do we really see there? I like that Rams defense, but the biggest thing on this one is, I was high on the Colts last week. I thought the Colts defense was this, solid defense, and then they got absolutely massacred by Russell Wilson. I mean, Russell Wilson was getting anything he wanted, slinging the ball all over the place. And then meanwhile, that Bears defense is, in my opinion, probably a better defense than that Colts defense. So we had Stafford on Sunday night going just a very cool, calm, collected, 20 of 26, 3 touchdowns. I know you hate Stafford, but I mean, he was getting anything he wanted on that Bears defense. 20 of 26. I mean, and 3 touchdown passes.
I mean,
so
hey, 2 of them were 70-yard blown coverages, but we'll give them to him.
Hey, I mean, in my opinion, I felt like the Bears defense was a different standard than the Colts defense. So if that happened against the Bears defense, I don't see why it wouldn't happen against the Colts defense that just got torched by Russell Wilson. So at the end of the day, I know that it's 79% of the public right now is on that Rams -3.5, but it's one of those ones where I'm just like, you know what, I just gotta avoid, overthinking this one. I just think Stafford and that Rams team and Darrell Henderson looked pretty good. I just feel like they're a superior team, and I think they're really going to start opening the eyes, even more than they already have. So that's my play on that one. I'm excited about that game. It should be a pretty good game overall, but -3.5, I think they'll cover for sure. Then we'll move on. So we just talked about the Bears. We'll go Bears and Bengals. The spread on that one is Bears -3, and the over/under is 45. Do you got a play on this one?
Yeah, so here I'm going with this is one of my plays. I'm going with the Bengals at home or on the road here +3. I think the Bears, there's just too many question marks with the QB situation. I think if Justin Fields played, I would have leaned Bears, but the fact like they keep going in and out of QBs, I think it's just kind of messing up their offense. They just need to pick one. And I think their defense really I thought there'd be a pretty good defense this year. I know it was just one game, but that secondary, they already had 2 blown coverages. I don't know. I feel like with the Bengals, they have so many weapons on offense, and you're getting 3 here. Definitely laying the +3, and thinking that the Bengals offense will do well. Also, their defense held Dalvin Cook down last week, and I feel like they'll hold David Montgomery enough to where they're going to force the Bears to pass, and Andy Dalton's always due for interception. So I'm taking Bengals +3 here.
Yeah, if I had to look at this one, I don't know how anybody can sit there and be confident taking Bears -3, unless we get Justin Fields, which it's still just going off on a little bit of a side note. I have zero idea what Matt Nagy's thinking. If nothing else, seeing Zach Wilson out there last week, he got better as that game went on. Seeing Trevor Lawrence getting those reps, just practice reps is not going to do anything for Justin Fields. Andy Dalton is not their future. I don't even think he's the better quarterback. I think Justin Fields, let's see what he's got in the tank. If he comes out and he's absolutely dog shit, okay, bench him, put in Andy Dalton. But at the end of the day right now, we don't even know what we would get from Justin Fields.
They should have benched Dalton after the second drive. After he threw that pick, he had another 3 and out. He should have been benched.
And I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I loved Andy Dalton in Cincinnati. I felt like he didn't get as much credit as he deserved. He wasn't that good, but I mean, he had some good days, but he's past those good days, if you ask me. He wasn't that good in Dallas last year, and he hasn't looked very good for the Bears. I can't feel confident taking the Bears -3. I know 63% of the bets right now are on Bengals +3. So I think everybody's kind of thinking the same thing we are. But how can you just say I'm going to fade the public and just go with Bears when you have Andy Dalton as that starting quarterback and that Bears defense? Like I said, Stafford torched them. So, I mean, at no point can I feel confident taking that Bears team. I got friends of mine that are Bears fans that just are disgusted with what they're seeing. So Yeah, I would probably say I'm on Bengals +3, even if it is the public play. I don't care. So moving on, enough talking shit about the Bears. We'll move on and talk shit about some other teams. Let's go Patriots and Jets. And that spread is Patriots right now -5.5 on some books. I'm seeing it -6. And the over under is 42.5 on some and 44.5. We'll just go with 42.5 because I think that's what most books have. So over under a 42.5 and then Patriots -5.5. Do you got anything here?
So for this one, another dumpster fire, in my opinion. Just boring game to watch. Probably won't even watch it at all. If I had to lean, probably just take the Jets because you said they're getting 5 right now,
5.5. I think some books have it
Yeah.
as 6.
I'd probably lean Jets. They covered last week against Carolina. In my opinion, I think Carolina is a better team than Patriots right now. And they're at home. I'd take the +5.5 here, but I think it's a dumpster fire. I feel like the Patriots need to let Mac Jones throw the ball more. They're relying too much on the running game. I feel like the guy's more talented than they think. It was just a pretty boring game last week. It's tough for me to watch them, but yeah, I'd lean Jets here.
Yeah, so I'm on Jets in this one. I have it at +5.5. Like I said, I'm seeing some books with it at +6 right now. I just don't know how you can trot Mac Jones out there in that Patriots offense and think that they warrant -5.5 on the road. Because that game is in New Jersey with the Jets, and if Tua Tagovailoa, however the hell you pronounce that guy's last name, if Tua can keep up, I don't see why Zach Wilson can't. I mean, honestly, because like Zach Wilson, like I said, he got better as that game went on last week. I've been impressed with what I've seen from him in both the preseason and last week. I don't think the Jets are really that good of a team at the end of the day, but you're giving me 5.5 at home. And I just don't think that Mac Jones is some superior quarterback to Zach Wilson. And yeah, the Patriots have, other pieces on that team. But at the end of the day, we have a rookie quarterback matchup. How can you say that 6 points, 5.5 points, whatever, on the road? It just doesn't, in my opinion, I don't think Mac Jones is good enough to get that amount of points on the road. And, Damian Harris, at running back for the Patriots. I'm not impressed by that Patriots offense at all. I don't think that they're going to come out and just blow out the Jets. But, hey, maybe I'm wrong. But we have 86% of the public right now on Patriots. Fade that.
Oh
Completely
my
fade
God.
that. Yeah, 86%. That's why that number's up to 6 now. I know the Jets aren't good, but they're good enough to cover at home. So whatever. Moving on, we'll go Saints and Panthers. Spread right now, after the Saints blew out everybody, last week, is -3.5. I'm seeing -4 on some books, and then over under of 44. I know you got to play on this one.
Yeah, so here, I'm on the Jameis bandwagon, but I'm gonna fade him this week. I'm going Panthers +4 at home. I still think Saints win, but probably like by a field goal. I would say I think it's gonna be a lot closer game. Darnold kind of impressed me last week. He made the plays he needed to. McCaffrey looks like he's healthy, so I think they'll be able to battle with the Saints defense. I also think Aaron Rodgers just looked like dog shit last week, so I don't think that blowout means a whole lot. Looked like he didn't really care out there.
Yeah, he's been golfing all summer.
Oh yeah, too busy on Jeopardy.
Yeah,
But one of my plays here is Panthers +4. I just think at home it's too many points. Their offense, I think, will keep up with the Saints, and I kind of see a letdown from the Saints after having a big win last week. So I'd take +4 here.
Yeah, for sure. I know you have a play on this one, but I don't. But I would probably still say I agree with you. I'd lean Panthers. +4, at home. Once again, we're talking about home underdogs. It's always, something nice to bet on. And then you look at that Saints team, like you said, big win last week, but they're getting 66% of the bets. I expect that's just going to keep going up because everybody saw, Jameis Winston last week. They put up 38 points on the Packers. Everybody sees that and they overreact. It's like the classic week 1 overreaction, if you ask me. I think that Saints team is good, but I don't see them coming out and just blowing the doors off of every single team they play, especially on the road. So in my opinion, I think Panthers can keep in this game. we're going to go with Panthers +4 if I had to lean. So we'll move on. How about let's go Texans and Browns. Big spread on this one. Browns -12.5, over under of 48. That Texans team is not good, but do you have anything on this one?
No, I'm staying away from this one. Too big of a spread for me to touch. I will say I was kind of impressed by the Texans last week, but I think it also just showed how bad the Jags are. So if I had a lean, I'd probably lean Browns here, -12.5. They really impressed me against the Chiefs. I thought they should have won outright. They just did some stupid shit. So I would lean Browns here, actually, -12.5. I see them winning by like 2 touchdowns at least. And at home, I think they'll be fired up for this one.
Yeah, it's always crazy to see a spread like that, especially in the NFL, just because the teams, are pretty good. But man, the Texans, they're not a good team. I know they beat Jacksonville last week, and people are like, well, maybe Tyrod Taylor's good. No, 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 no. This is that. I mean, that was Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer's Jaguars. They're not good. I'm on Browns over 30.5 team total. I'm not going to deal with the defense, aspect of things. I don't know if they'll cover -12.5. They probably will, but at the end of the day, 30.5 is a team total. I think they're getting 31 all day on that Texans defense. The Texans are dog shit, if you ask me. Lawrence threw for 332 yards on them still. So I know some of that was, garbage time yards, but at the end of the day, he didn't have a good running back with him, if you ask me. Mayfield is probably, in my opinion, 5 times the quarterback that Trevor Lawrence is at this point in their career, at least. Mayfield looked good last week, in my opinion. I feel like with Baker going out and probably having a lot better of a day against this, Texans defense, and then you got Chubb and Kareem Hunt. I just feel like 31 points with a solid running game on that Browns team, a very good offensive line, honestly, probably an underrated offensive line. And then you got Baker just cooking. I think this is kind of that game where the Browns say, okay, so we lost to the Chiefs. We're going to come out and absolutely just manhandle that Texans defense. So 31 points for me. I know it sounds like a high number, but I don't see them scoring anything less than that. So I'm going with Browns over 30.5 team total. That's my play on that one. All right. How about Bills and Dolphins? Bills -3.5 on the road against the Dolphins. And the over-under of that is 48. You got anything there?
So for this one, I really wanted to take the Dolphins. But I have so many underdogs this week that it wasn't that top of mind for me. However, I do like Miami at home. I'd say +3. Love it. It's not one of my plays, but I still like it a lot. I think the Bills team's good. I just feel like it's going to Miami. They always struggle against Miami. I think Miami beat them outright last year. I don't know what it is, but they always struggle against Miami, like historically. So I'd probably lean +3.5 here. Maybe Bills win by like a field goal, but yeah, I'd take the 3.5 with the Dolphins. Not official play, but that's where I'd lean.
Yeah, this one's tough because I look at Josh Allen and that Bills team. They're one of the better teams in the league, but anytime you're going on the road and you got to cover a spread like that, it's tough. And then anytime I see 76% of the bets on the Bills, it feels like it's a classic one, just like we saw
By
on
the
Monday
public,
night.
baby.
I mean, really, and I rode with the public on, 1 or 2 of my plays here. But at the end of the day, 76%, I think it's just going to keep going up. I really don't feel confident, leaning with Tua, but that Dolphins defense, that was a low scoring game, 17-16. They kind of did an all right job with Mac Jones last week. Not saying Mac Jones is some all-star. Josh Allen's kind of a different level, but at the same time, Miami was very good at home in the past against the spread. I feel like I would have to just lean with the Dolphins here. I think Tua is probably going to keep taking steps and making more strides in the NFL. So Dolphins probably a little bit of a sleeper team this year for just overall. I would take 3.5 as well. So let's see what we got. We got Raiders and Steelers. What do you think here? We got -5.5 for the Steelers, and then I'm seeing over under 47.
Yeah. So for this one, I think it's going to be a pretty good game. I think it's probably one of the best games of the week, in my opinion. The Raiders really impressed me last night. great game, by the way, them and the Ravens. Lamar Jackson showed he's a little overrated, as I have a hot take on last night, but we'll continue on with that for a different day.
Right.
But I'm leaning. Actually, I think I have a play on this one. Let me look. Yeah, I'm on the Raiders plus 5.5 here. I just think everyone's gonna be on the Steelers train, just being the Bills on the road. They're gonna be like, "Wow, this team's like so sick." Like public's probably gonna hammer them. However, I do think their defense was nasty last week. I just think their offense didn't show me a ton. I have Najee Harris on my fantasy team. Kind of disappointed me last week. I know it was against the Bills defense, but I just don't think they have a good offensive line. Big Ben looks like he needs to hang it up. I just see this game being a lot closer than 5.5. I still think Steelers obviously win, but I think it's going to be a lot closer of a game than people think. I know some people expect them to win by double digits. I don't see that. I know they're flying from Vegas after an emotional win, but I think that Raiders defense was pretty solid. I mean, Max Crosby is probably top 5 defensive end with that performance last night. So I trust that defensive line hold the Steelers intact on offense.
Yeah, for sure. I look at that spread and it's tough because, the Raiders obviously looked really good last week and, they covered the spread against, Lamar, but I'm a little bit worried about that Steelers defense. I know the Ravens defense isn't, some awful defense, but I think the Raiders probably had a little bit more success. Probably just, towards the end of that game too, it looked like that Ravens defense was very tired. I'm not sure if that's a conditioning issue. I know they went to overtime, obviously, so I get it. It was a very hard fought game, but if I had to take anything on this, I'd probably lean under 47. And a lot of that just has to do with when we're looking at those percentage of bets, only 53% is on the over, but we've seen that number go down from it opened at 49 and now it's down to 47. Something's going on. You got some sharp guys in Vegas that are probably hammering that under, and it makes sense. Like we said, the Raiders defense really didn't play that bad, and to have to keep in Lamar, it's a tough job. So I thought they did actually a formidable job last week against the Ravens. And then we obviously know just the Steelers defense is just disgusting. So I would probably lean under. I think this game's actually going to be a lower scoring game than most people think. Maybe like a 24-20, 21-17, kind of, ugly, but it goes under. So I would probably lean under 47, but I'm staying away from the spread on that. So, all right, we'll move on. I know there's a game that we both got in the 49ers and Eagles game. The 49ers right now are laying -4, -3.5 on some books, depends where you go. And then the over-under is 50. What do we got here?
Yeah, so for me, I'm hopping on the Hurts train. He really impressed me last week. Offensive line did well for him. Jason Kelsey did some good blocking. I think the defense is really what impressed me, or the Falcons just have a very shitty offensive line, which I think both are fair. But their defense looked pretty solid last week. 49ers didn't really impress me. I mean, they did beat the Lions, but our defense was god awful. Like, it was just tough to watch that game. And they got so many injuries last week too, the 49ers did. So I think there's just way too many question marks to them to even be a 3.5. I think I got them at 4, +4, but I think now it's maybe 3.5. But yeah, I'm taking +4 all day there. And I wouldn't even mind sprinkling a little Eagles money line here as well.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that one. There's going to be some plays that are just too hard to pass up, and this is one of those ones. I just think Eagles +4 at home. As I mentioned earlier, I love that home underdog. I love taking, if you're going to give me points, for a team at home, especially a team like the Eagles, who looked really good last week. Jalen Hurts looked great. I like Miles Sanders. He's, a solid running back in my opinion. I think he's just developing into one of those premier running backs. The Eagles defense obviously looked pretty good last week. I mean, I know that game was a blowout, but the Falcons couldn't do anything. So when you kind of mentioned that San Francisco didn't look good, I completely agree on that. I would have to say that Detroit actually put up some yards last week. Granted, some of them were garbage yards. And, that game was, it looked a lot closer at the end of the game than it probably was all game, but they still gave up 430 yards, 430 yards to a very bad offense, if you ask me. Jared Goff's, no great quarterback, if you ask me. So if you're asking me, I think the 49ers looked kind of shitty last week. So I would probably say Eagles +4 at home is one of my favorite plays of the week. So I think Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders is going to have all kinds of fun against that 49ers defense.
If any team is going to let us down, it's going to be the Eagles every time.
Oh, my God. Yeah, no kidding. Especially at home. They'll probably do it for their fans, and their fans all leave upset, So.
But, hey, we're taking our chances. I'm with you on this one.
Exactly. So I'm also looking at, part of that is also we got 71% of the bets on 49ers after they beat Detroit. People think that was like an impressive win. No, it was not. It was not impressive. So, all right, we'll move on to the 4:00 games. We're going to go to Vikings and Cardinals first. Cardinals, after a very good, impressive, win last week, are -4.5 right now over the Vikings. And then we got 47.5, I believe, is the over/under.
Yeah. So for this one, you said the over's at 47.5.
Yeah, I'm seeing 47.5. It's up to 40, 49 on some 50.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't take a play here. I kind of wanted to lean Vikings, but just so hard to bet against the Cardinals after what they did last week. They really impressed me. I'm staying away from this game. I wouldn't be surprised if the Vikings covered, and if this one went over, I expect more of a shootout in this one. I know the Cardinals did go off defensively last week, but I don't think they're as great as they showed against the Titans. I think the Titans just had one of the worst games they could have had all year. So I'd probably lean Vikings and over in this one, but I don't have a play.
Yeah, this is one I stayed away from as well. Like you said, I'd love to lay that 4.5 with the Vikings, but they didn't show me anything last week, and Kyler Murray did. And at the end of the day, the Cardinals probably will be a little bit slower this week. I don't expect them to just come out and do what they did last week every single week. But how good are the Vikings? We don't really know. They didn't look great last week. And, I know the Bengals are, a formidable team, but I didn't think they actually looked all that great. I could see the Cardinals coming out and win this game by 7, 10, but I'm not confident enough to lay it. So I'm staying away as well. We'll move on. How about let's go to Falcons and Buccaneers. Falcons are laying, or the spread here is Buccaneers -12.5 and over under 51.5. What do we got here?
I don't have a play on this one, but I wish I pulled up the team total for the Falcons. I don't have it up right now, but I would take that under. Not an official play, but their offensive line is so bad. Like I tuned in for a couple of drives because I have Ridley on my fantasy team. Matt Ryan had like half a second to breathe back there. He's already average as it is. The last thing he needs is pressure, and his feet were dabbling like he was like a chicken with his head cut off back there.
Right.
It was tough to watch. I don't expect that offensive line to dramatically change overnight. And then your next game is against the Buccaneers. Good luck. I probably take Falcons team total under here. I might actually add that Sunday morning if it's like anything. Like if it's 14.5, I'm taking under on that one.
Yeah, I mean, we could look it up real quick. I'll kind of just give you what I'm thinking on this game. Honestly, I really would want to take the Falcons +12.5, but what did we see last week? Just a dog shit performance. It was horrible. I was very, very surprised at what I saw. I thought that was a good over with them and the Eagles, and they just couldn't do anything. So, I mean, really, at the end of the day, I'd love to take +12.5, but really, I just don't think that Falcons team is good enough to keep up with the Buccaneers. -12.5 probably is going to hit. As much as I hate to say it, I probably would lean -12.5.
It's 20 right now. I will add that to my official playlist. I am taking under team total Falcons 20. That is ridiculous.
Yeah. You just got to hope that that Bucs defense, shores it up, because I didn't think they looked that great against Dak and the Cowboys last week, but it was week 1. They're just ironing things
Yeah.
out. So
I also think like the Cowboys and Falcons are just on 2 different
yeah,
spectrums as well.
Dak's good.
Yeah.
Like,
And they have way more weapons. Like the Falcons didn't know what to do. Like you'd run the ball. It looked like watching the Michigan offense. You'd run on first, second down, third down. Oh, we're just gonna throw it to Ridley. Ridley's doubled. So I don't know. I'm taking under 20 as an official play actually in that one for the Falcons. So
all
I'll
right.
add that to my
Yeah.
list.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So under 20 for the Falcons. Moving on, we'll go to Cowboys and Chargers. I just talked shit about a couple other teams, so we're going to talk shit about the Cowboys. This spread is Chargers -3, over under of 55. Do you got anything on this one?
No, I'm staying away from this one. It's so tough for me to bet on the Cowboys. I think it should be more of like a -1 spread if I had to pick. Cowboys really impressed me on offense last week, but their defense still brutal. So if I had a lean here, I'd probably take over. I know the over is going up a ton. I think it's gone up like 2 or 3 points since it opened. But I don't see any defense in this one.
Yeah, this is one, I don't mind the over as well, but I'm taking Chargers -3. I know that's, it sounds a little bit crazy, but honestly, I just think the Cowboys are getting so gassed up right now. I think they're frauds. I don't think that defense is good. I think they have major holes. Tampa showed that. Tom Brady threw for 379 yards on that defense. They put up 431 yards total. I don't think their defense is at all, a formidable defense. I think Justin Herbert didn't really look all that great last week. I think he's going to come out this week. I think he's going to torch that Cowboys defense. Yes, I just said Dak is a very good quarterback, and I do think Dak's going to be able to at least keep them somewhat in the game. But all I need is 3 points. I think the Chargers are going to kind of come out at home, be very, very fired up for that crowd, come out, ball out. I just think this is one where I'm also looking at, like I said, Cowboys are getting gassed up. 61% of the bets right now are on that Cowboys +3. That tells me something's going on.
America's team, baby.
That tells me something's going to go on in Vegas. They're getting gassed up because they played good against Tampa last week. I said that Tampa defense didn't look all that good. They probably were just kind of ironing some things out week 1. I'm not saying the Chargers defense is outstanding, but they're a good defense still. I think they're going to come out, show everybody Cowboys aren't that good. So we're going to take Chargers -3. Really like that one. We're going to fade the public. So moving on, we'll go to Titans and Seahawks. I know you got to play on this one. Seahawks are -5.5 right now. The over-under is 53.5. What do you got here?
Yeah, so here I'm riding with the Titans +5.5. I think this is a perfect game of both teams having a complete opposite week. I feel like Seahawks went over their expectations for week 1. I feel like Titans had one of the worst weeks you could have had week 1. Taylor Lewan even admitted on Twitter, I think he said I was literally dog shit on Sunday. Got my ass beat by Chandler Jones. So I think the offensive line is going to respond. Tannehill looked awful. Derrick Henry didn't look great. I feel like they got to bounce back here, and you're giving me 5 points. I'm definitely taking that. I just feel there's too much talent on that team. I feel like Seahawks, they played well, but I feel like they're due for a letdown here. I know they're at home, but 5.5 is way too many here. I would think the line's like -3. So I'm riding with the Titans here.
Yeah, I would do the same thing. I think the Seahawks, I know they're going to be at home, and you got the 12th man, really, really cool stadium just in general. But 5.5 points, it's just a lot. I think it's a big overreaction. We could be wrong. They could absolutely, shit on the Titans because the Titans didn't look very good last week. But that's the point. They didn't look good last week. I think they're going to put in a lot of work, in practice this week on offense. Get Tannehill right, Derrick Henry. A lot of things didn't look great for the Titans last week. And I think they're going to shore up some of those things. I think this game, like you said, it's probably more like a 3-point spread. If you ask me, maybe 2.5, honestly. I think the Titans are going to stay in this game. It'll probably be one of the better games of the week, if you ask me. I could see this game being a 24-21 type game. It could go either way like that. So I also kind of would take the under based on, what I'm kind of saying there. I think both teams are going to slow down a little bit, just based on how I think this game's going to go. That's what I would say. But we'll move on to the Sunday night game, Sunday night football. We got Chiefs and Ravens. I'm excited for this one. Two of the better quarterbacks in the league. I know you don't like Lamar, but it's Chiefs minus 3.5. Over under right now, I'm seeing 47.5 at the low, all the way up to like 53, depending on where you're going. So we're gonna just say somewhere in the middle. We'll say 49. So what would we say here?
So this one, I like Lamar Jackson. I just don't. People put him in the same tier as like Patrick Mahomes and like Josh Allen. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, he's not in that tier. I think last week perfectly showed that. Like, if he could throw the ball, he would have won that game last week. It basically looks like he gets in the pocket and then just relies on run. So I'm leaning one of my plays here is Chiefs minus 3.5. Honestly, I can easily see this being a trap, but they're just too good for me to not take that. If I can get the Chiefs minus 3.5 at any time, I'm riding that. Just, they're so talented on offense. The Ravens defense didn't really impress me a whole lot at all with the Raiders. So I'm riding the 3.5. I wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens covered, but I don't really care. I'm just trusting Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback, and I think they get it done here.
For sure. So I misspoke. It's 54.5 is what I'm looking at on that total, but I kind of agree. That mentality you just kind of spoke about, the same thing I was kind of talking about with the Rams earlier. And sometimes you just got to go with that. Even if the public is all over a play, it doesn't matter if you really believe in that team that much. And I would agree with you. I almost put this as one of my plays this week. I was kind of, debating. I'm like, wow, it's Sunday night football. Anything could happen. But really, at the end of the day, I feel like it's a rule of thumb for most people. If you can get the Chiefs under like 6.5, you should just absolutely auto bet it. Because Patrick Mahomes is he's different. I don't care if he's going on the road. He's good on the road. He's good at home. He's a far level above every other quarterback in the league right now. I was talking about you with that, just texting with you the other day. I don't think there's a second or third quarterback that are within a close margin of Patrick Mahomes. He's on a different level. He's just insane. So Chiefs minus 3.5. You have to lay it. I feel like if you're going to do that, I would lean that. It's not going to be an official play. Maybe I'll throw it on there separate, but it's not going to be an official play. But I completely agree. Sometimes you just gotta lay it. So we'll move on. Oh man, great Monday Night Football with the Lions. Oh boy,
we can skip this one.
Yeah, honestly, who? Yeah, I should have worn. Like I said, I'm gonna one of these podcasts. I'll wear my shirt. This team makes me drink, and it's got the Lions. So, anyways, the spread is Packers minus 11.5. Minus 11 depends where you get it, and then an over under of 48.5. What are we thinking here?
I have no words for this game, to be honest. It's just the Packers. I don't even know what to say. The Lions. They always do the same old Lions. Just go down 21. They get an onside kick. You think they're gonna tie the game, and they break your heart again. However, we do well on Monday night. I don't know what it is, and I feel like 11's a lot. But if I had a pick here, I'm leaning probably the over. I think both defenses are kind of garbage, to be honest. And if I had a pick, I'd probably lean Packers more so than Lions.
Yeah, so I would say over as well. Once again, almost a play that I put in, just kind of had to stay away because I'm like, man, it's Monday Night Football. Lions might just come out and throw it like a 0 up there. They could do that kind of thing. But 48 points just doesn't feel like that much for what we saw from these defenses last week. I kind of talked about San Francisco, absolutely dominated, Detroit last week. And I don't really think Jimmy G's anywhere near Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers, I feel like, is going to have a field day. I think Aaron Jones and, A.J. Dillon, the other running back in Green Bay, are going to just absolutely destroy the Lions. I could see, like you said, minus 11 hitting. But I also just feel like that Packers defense is not very good. I know Jameis Winston's, solid, and that, that Saints team's going to be very good this year, but Goff and, DeAndre Swift, I think, are probably going to be good enough to put up some points. 48 points just doesn't feel like that much points. I could see this game kind of turn into a little bit of a shootout, and then the Packers kind of pull away late and cover that -11. I guess we'll see, but I'm excited for it either way. Anytime the Lions get on Monday Night Football, even if we're one of the most shitty teams in the league, probably one of the worst, I'm excited about it. But so we'll move on. Those are our plays for the week. I guess to sum it up, I'll kind of go through my official plays for the week. I went with Rams -3.5. We love our guy Stafford. Jets +5.5. I went with Browns over 30.5 team total. Eagles +4 with Breeze. Chargers -3 to finish it out. What do you got as your final?
Yeah, so I got Panthers +4, Bengals +3, Raiders +5.5, Titans +5.5, Eagles +4, Chiefs -3.5, and I just added Falcons team total under 20, right? 20.5 right now on FanDuel. Also feel free to follow, I post my picks on Action Network if you guys have it. I think Beast, you do the same. So you can always track our picks on there, follow us on there. I put mine on Twitter as well. So always can track them on there, because sometimes we might touch something live, or the day of, we might add something. So because we're recording this on Wednesday, so we might have more plays that come up, but that's what I have for now.
For sure. What's your Action Network at? Do you know it?
Yeah, so I think it's just Breez _ picks. Same as my Twitter.
Okay. Yeah, mine's Beast _picks, so that makes it pretty simple. But all right, we're gonna kind of go into our last segment that we do, which is just kind of something fun for the week. This one's gonna be a little bit of an interesting one. We saw this, obviously a lot of people saw this on Twitter, but we want to kind of just break it down. What's going on in that Washington football stadium? They had the situation with sewage coming down. So I'm gonna share my screen real quick. Pull up the Google Chrome. Share my sound too, and we're gonna try to see if we can get this video up here. Let's see, share computer. Bear with us, guys. We're just gonna try to. Yeah, no,
it's off. I can see it.
Okay, all right. Record. All right, let's see what we can do. Can you hear the actual?
I think you just gotta play it.
Let's see what we can do. If we don't get the sound, it is what it is. We'll just try to describe it to you.
That's sewage. That's how we celebrate. They don't do that down in the Carolinas. They don't fucking do it.
Oh.
That's sewage.
All right, so I'm gonna see if I can.
Holy shit!
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna see if I can pull up this old man, because this is like one of my favorite parts of the video.
Best part is this guy's Southern accent.
Yeah, that too. This guy looks absolutely fucking terrified. He's like, "Get me out of here!" And he goes, "Holy fucking shit!" at one point. And then you got this other lady. I think she's towards the end of it, and she goes, that shit. Yeah, her in the Taylor jersey. So
you just imagine just sitting there and that just falls on your head.
Oh my god.
They should do a lawsuit for sure on that one. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, it's an absolute joke, frankly. But at the end of the day, it's not probably sewage water, but we know it's a pipe of some sort. But they were
sewage.
I don't.
That thing probably had a stink in the.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, who knows? Where this pipe was coming from, but maybe it was from like the top floor bathrooms. I mean, So honestly, we thought it was a pretty funny video. We figured we'd just try to see if we could share it. Hopefully it came out good on the actual recording. But my favorite part is that guy. He's like leaning back up against his seat and he's like, holy fucking shit. And he looks absolutely terrified. So that was probably number one. And then two had to be the lady that's that shit in her high pitched voice. So it was something fun to end it on, but I think that's it for us. We'll try to, win some games for you guys this week. Breeze is going to try to see if he can repeat the 5-2. I'm going to see if I can redeem myself from a 3-4. But we'll be back next week. We'll recap how we did and make sure to tune in, subscribe to our podcast, and that's it. So we'll see you guys next week.